that was brought by Brigadier Kunene. And in the presence of Brigadier Kunene or so-and-so, I downloaded or I mirror image this document or this device, whether it's a laptop or whether it's a cell phone. And then this is the information that I found from this device. Now, if there are signs whether there is a 212 statement or a statement that explains this process, I don't know, and I don't want to get too deep into that if that is the case. But my problem is where our names are being used here, say, I have arranged a meeting for Sibia and a minister. In my case, no person ever arranged a meeting between the minister and myself. The minister, if he wants a meeting, he will call for a meeting. Or the National Commissioner will arrange, the National Commissioner's office will arrange. Not a person who is an outsider say, I've arranged a meeting between you and the minister.
It sounds to me that you doubt or dispute the authenticity of this WhatsApp.
I'm not disputing, but I doubt. I'm concerned because if this house had to invite the expert that downloaded this thing and say, this is who I am, these are my qualifications, this is the system that I use to download this, and this is what I analyzed, this is what I found, and then it is in my professional capacity and my qualifications to be able to issue this statement, and this is what I say. To me, I mean, this is an expert evidence.
But that's what the affidavit says at paragraph 34. Is that Lieutenant Colonel Tiesi, I don't know if you know him personally, from the Digital Forensic Investigations Unit, forensically searched and accessed Matlala's cell phones in the Sandton docket and prepared a report. The purpose of searching and accessing Matlala's phones was to establish the link in the Sandton docket between the suspects Musa Kakani and Denny Mabusela on the one hand and Matlala on the other. So this process is described. Unfortunately, we have also asked for the supporting or the confirmatory affidavits to this affidavit of Kunene's, and we haven't received them. I don't know if your legal team has requested them or received them, because one must assume, just being in this profession, one must assume that there'd be an affidavit from Tiesi where he confirms that I refer to paragraph 34, whatever, and I confirm that I did X, Y, and Z, and it's confirmed.
I will tell you the problem that I have with this type of approach from the side of Lieutenant Colonel JC. If Lieutenant Colonel JC is a member of the political killing task team itself, then it begs a question of independence and neutrality, because an expert must be neutral and must not be part of the same team. Because if he's part of the same team, they can produce any result they want. So it's a concern for me.
I mean, he's clearly, or it seems from Kunene's affidavit that he's not. He's from the Digital Forensic Investigations Unit. You should know who's in that unit. You're the head of forensics, the detectives, crime intelligence.
Remember, General Mkwanazi said that they also have the ballistic units, they also have the forensic unit within them. I do know that I have received such complaint from the component head where they wanted certain members to come back from political killing task team, because they say it's affecting their cases, because should their cases be questioned, you cannot really exercise independence and say, I'm an independent forensic expert when you are part of the team that is actually conducting investigation. We can actually investigate you and place you on the scene anytime, even if you are not there, if this is part of the team. But if it is an independent thing, where, like in any other criminal case that is being done, you investigate, you send staff to head office, forensics, then it gets registered in the registers, it goes through the normal channels, get processed that side, and then sent. It's neutral. But, however, I'm not here to challenge the authenticity. I say I doubt if that is the case. But safe to say that this is a discussion between two people. I've never sat in a meeting that was arranged by Brown Mohosi with the meeting. He's never called me and say, have a meeting with the minister or with Nkabinde.
But this message doesn't imply or allege that you know Mokhotsi.
You know,
What it does say is that him, Matlala, the information peddler, he has arranged a meeting for you and the minister, and they must have a solution, whatever that solution might be.
It never happened. It never happened because when you follow a series of correspondence, in relation to the disbandment of the PKTT, comes back and dates back as far as 2019, the disbandment, to an extent that it was even announced that the specialized units will be introduced. And those specialized units, among others, they include the dissolvement of the task teams. That's including the dissolvement of the task teams, introducing the specialized units such as murder and robbery units. Now, murder and robbery unit, which is set to investigate like your ordinary murders, your police killings, your serial murders, including your political killings. Hence, you had in the meeting with General Kumalo in Parliament, General Kumalo said, these dockets will be taken to the murder and robbery unit. Now, the murder and robbery unit, as mandate, is to investigate, including political killings.
Now, can we at least accept this? One, that he has your number.
Yes.
Okay. Two, your number is on his phone.
Correct.
Three, he has phoned you on several occasions.
Yes.
You've never phoned him.
I have.
You've also phoned him.
I have called him.
Okay, so you've also phoned him. So it's not surprising that when they retrieve or access data on his phone, that a message from him to you or you to him would also be on the phone.
Yes, in relation to this part that, because in my discussions with whatever that I talked to him about, we've never gotten to a point where we talk about the minister. That's why you will not find anything from me.
So the only issue then is the content of this message. You deny that what's in this message is in fact what happened. Is that
yes.
Is that what one
yes,
can
yes. We never had a meeting with the minister because of the instruction or the arrangement made by any other person.
So that's another, from your viewpoint, that's another fact that as far as you're concerned, there was never a meeting between you and the minister involving Mokhotsi or Matlala.
No.
You sure about that?
The only meeting where we sat with the minister, it was in the presence of all other senior managers, wherein the minister was questioning the issue of the tender that was awarded and actually ordering that this tender be investigated. That's where I sat in that meeting, where Matala was discussed.
That's the Tswani and Netcare 24 tender.
It's one police college here to discuss that tender.
And ironically, that tender was then cancelled by the National Commissioner.
Yes, on the instruction of the minister.
So if the minister was in bed with Matlala in respect of a big tender like that, he may well have turned a blind eye or not have raised any objections to it.
Yes, considering the fact that it was issued before his time.
Yes, it was issued in 2024.
Yeah, during the time of Minister Beki. So when he came, it was already long issued.
He came subsequently, and of course we will ask him about it.
Yes, when the noise started to take place, that's when the minister asked about this tendency. What is going on here? What do we know about these things? Can it be investigated? And that's when the investigative process started to investigate it. Up until the minister says, then cancel this term.
So just to come back to this message. So it can only be that Matlala had made this up, this message. Which I mean, if it's the case with peddlers or people who peddle information, I suppose that's what they could do. I'm trying to narrow what the issue here is here. This is a message on his phone. He's got your number. He knows you. You've spoken. He phoned you. You phoned him. And now he says to Mokotsi, I've arranged a meeting. You're not aware of this message, firstly.
I saw the messages for the first time when they were displayed, I think by General Kumalo.
Yeah. So one, you obviously don't know this message.
No, I'm not aware of these messages, and I was really not part of this discussion.
And two, you were not party to him arranging any meeting between you and the minister.
Not at all.
Okay. And when he talks about a solution to what, do you know what he's referring to?
I don't know. I think maybe he can come and explain. But in my case, when you look at the correspondences in relation or leading to the ultimate disbandment, you can see that starting from the presentation that was made in Parliament, it is not influenced by any other thing, even leading to, let's say for an example, let me refer the honorable members to a document that I want to refer to. Is that one of the establishment of the specialized units. Chair, I'm up and down because the evidence leader is asking questions, so I'm not following my statement. Yeah. So I lose track.
Do you want the PKTT implementation?
Establishment of a of the specialized unit.
You're looking for the work study of
Yes,
2019?
yes, somewhere around
That
there.
is at item SP 13 on pages 120 to 166.
So now, when you look at this way, DNC management,
Which
advisory
page,
service,
General?
page 120.
Yeah.
This is a work study investigation report, and it talks about the establishment of specialized capacities, anti-gang units, murder and robbery units, inclusive of taxi violence and cold case investigation function within the South African Police Service. And specifically draw you to page 131.
$131.
Yeah. Paragraph 5.4.2, which talks about the mandate, murder and robbery, which include taxi violence. It says murders will be restricted to the following: all identified serial murders, murder and attempted murders are committed against officials employed in the criminal justice system whilst in the execution of their duties, police killings, political murders and attempted murders, murder of elderly as defined by the older persons. Now, it also told about robbery, who will be investigating robbery. But further than that, you then go to the one that speaks to the evaluation. It's also a follow-up on the work study report that says the purpose of this project had a dual purpose. The main purpose of this investigation is to determine the implementation status of specialized units that were established and reviewed in the detective service since 2016. Combined to that is the evaluation of the allocation of resources as well as the necessity of this unit based on the restricted posts available. Now, this document, honorable members, without going maybe just to read this history and background, it talks about this work study is based on concluded work study investigations that were conducted and approved since 2016 for the establishment of various specialized capacities in the detective service. This work study investigations includes the following: the review of the detective service structure in 2016 were conducted in the inclusion of capacities for both organized crime investigation unit as well as commercial crime investigation unit for re-establishment in their subs in response to the migration of the resources for the Directorate of Priority Crime Investigation in 2009. Both these units were also reviewed to determine their ideal post structures. Now, I want to just, without any waste of time, Chair, go to page 176 in this document.
176.
Yes, 176 paragraph. I'll read in each paragraph that I want to specifically quote. So in 6.4.4, it talks about, it says, it is evident that the historical specialized capacities are better implemented than the newly established units. The units that is the best capacitated according to the personnel strength, FCS, taxi violence capacity within the murder and robbery unit, which is 74%, anti-corruption unit, 52%. It is, however, evident that there is a shortage at all the specialized capacities. The worst allocation to any unit is currently commercial crime unit. Now, murder and robbery units are at 18% implemented and organized crime at 28%. The reason for the next paragraph, 6.4.5, it says the provincial investigation unit, although present and part of the structure of the detective service since 2016, have not been established in 7 provinces. Northwest allocated one commander to the PIU, but what I want to bring to the attention of this House is the reason for the establishment of this unit was to ensure that provincial directed investigations could be conducted with the alternative function to also replace the numerous task teams that were functioning at provincial levels. It is necessary to look at the status of the provincial units' capacities and make a decision based on implementation of possibly to close down the capacities at provincial level, to close down these task teams. This would also alleviate the need to establish a capacity without a need in the current circumstances, and there are continuous budget cuts, especially for compensation. Closure of the provincial investigation unit would then relieve some pressure on additional unit that needs capacity resources. Now, when you turn to the next page, on page 177, it says these task teams should be placed within the murder and robbery unit to capacitate and direct the focus on a permanent structure within the necessary command and control budget and capability instead of functioning in silos. Now, this says...
But just to pause there, if you look at the task teams that you are referring to, if you look at page 177, because the criticism is at paragraph 6.4.5.1 on page 177. This seems to be the criticism. The task teams that are not monitored run rampant for years without determining or accounting for the gap left where the members were taken from, mostly at station level. The task teams found operating in provinces are as follows. And you can look there: foreign vehicle task team, multi-trip task teams functioning in various provinces, essential infrastructure task teams, kidnapping and ransom task teams, extortion teams, counterintelligence task team, anti-gang task team, cash in transit and ATM bombing task team, political murders team, multidisciplinary task team, knockout team, concentrating on illicit mine, narcotics task team, provincial tracing task team, illegal mining task team. Where does it mention the political killings task team, other than you see a reference there to political murders team?
Political murders team is the same as political killing task team.
Is that what you
Yes,
saying?
it's the same team. Now,
But this is a 2019 report. There's two work study. No, this is a work study. There's two work studies you referred. SB 13 is June 9, 2019, from page 120 to 166. We are now dealing with a work study of 14 June 2019, which in brackets it says it was approved on the 5th of June 2025. That's at 167 to 202. So this 177 is the work study dated 2019-24, but approved on the 5th of June 25.
it's the same document that talks about the task teams that are existing. And this task team must come to an end, basically. And this is approved. Now, listen to my comment, honorable members and chair, because this document, it comes back a long way. And this is why sometimes, depending on how effective you are, these documents, you do a lot of work study and you waste a lot of money in conducting work study investigations, but not implemented. Now, when you go to page 200, this is my comment before the signature. I say it is deeply concerning.
Yeah, let's go to page 200 and see what you say. You say this on the 16th of September 2024.
Yes.
And just remind me, was Minister Nkunu, was he appointed already in 2024?
Yes, yes.
He was July 24.
Yes.
Okay.
So now I say it is deeply concerning that a study of this nature was undertaken and approved by the National Commissioner since 2016, date, but not implemented by the respective provinces. What is also of concern is that despite numerous work study approvals by different national commissioners, little to no effort was made by provinces to resource and implement the resources, and implement the approved recommendations. This has significantly contributed to the poor performance of the detectives. In the recent crime stats release, it was evident that commercial crime investigation was neglected, considering the fact that the study proves a 17% implementation. Little else can be expected to a greater extent. There is 46 units not implemented, whereas 42 were only partially implemented. In other words, the detectives are operating under a complete deficit. There is an overall 57% shortage of capacity. Now, this is me trying to say it's a cause for concern that this study was undertaken but not implemented, because it addresses the challenges within the detectives.
Okay. So,
Chair, just on a point of clarity, please.
Honorable Matthias.
Thank you. Just clarity. So this report or the work study investigation was done in 2016, or it was commissioned in 2016 and then it was only signed off in 2024? Is that what I'm understanding? Because I heard Senior Counsel say something about 2025, so I just wanted clarity on that, please.
It was started in 2016, and then it was circulating now in between the offices from 2016 to up until it was signed by the National Commissioner on the 5th of June 2025. I raised a concern myself when I say it is deeply concerning that a study of this nature was undertaken and approved by the National Commissioner since 2016 to date, but not implemented by the specific provinces. This is what I say. And the National Commissioner, upon receiving this document in front...
Yeah, just hold it there. Are you fine, Honorable Member?
No, Chair, because the date here has, and maybe you can just point me, it's got, okay, let me just go to, it's got 2024. It was signed off on the 6th, or it's got a date here of the 6th of March 2024. So where's the signature of the National Commissioner for 2025?
Page 202.
202. Oh, okay. I see it. Thank you. Thank you.
The National Commissioner says implementation of these units must be expedited by the DNC crime detection, which is me, DIFCOM detectives, and provincial commissioners. Now, here we are talking to implementing the specialized units.
General, just before you go further, let's just understand the process, which I also want some clarity on and causing some confusion. This is a work study. It starts in 2016.
Yes.
But it's not as if it was done by Major Fisser or somebody.
Nzama.
Yeah. So it's not as if it's done in 2016 and then it gets passed on to you to look at and make your comments. The study is actually an ongoing piece of work that he does.
Yes, on a continuous basis.
And then it looks like in fact, it looks like it is submitted in 2024 if one looks at, if you start, are these all the senior officials in office at the time? The first, if you go to page 193, the first senior person is a brigadier, the section head, organizational design, operational services. SJ is a Kaibi, or KB.
Yes.
That he or she signs on the 18th of March 2024.
Yes.
Then the next one is Major General Mzima, Head Organizational Development, on the 14th of May 2024. Then on the 22nd of May 2024, Major General Maxim, Commercial Crime Investigation. But let's just look at their comments. The first one from Kaibi says, thanks, Colonel, for the comprehensive work study report. Paragraph 8 is supported. Paragraph 8. It's the recommendations. It is on page 186. It is recommended that this investigation be disseminated to all provincial commissioners after completion of comments and signatures.
Yes.
So this must mean that Lieutenant General Mkonazi also had sight of this work study.
That's correct.
Proper planning and implementation be done in all provinces regarding capacitation of specialized investigating units for both physical and human resources. Implementation plan should include all support and detective structures in the province and be approved with feedback dates on progress made with the implementation. A criteria be developed between organizational development and strategic planning in all provinces. There's a whole range of the command structure of the specialist units on page 187 are prioritized. The criteria for the allocation of posts include a possible review of station detective posts, possible vacancies. Then 8.9. No task teams be established without written and approved documentation from the provincial commissioner, indicating the start date and estimated end date, as well as dates for impact analysis on a quarterly basis. 8.10. Current task teams be subjected to an impact analysis by organizational development and strategic management in the province to ensure the feasibility of the existing teams. The provincial investigating units in the provinces that have been established be closed, as discussed in 645, 646, and that's the initial criticism that you had referred to at page 177.
Yes, Chair, Chair and honorable members.
And members currently placed at established PIUs, that's provincial investigating unit, be subjected to a skills determination evaluation in order to be placed at murder and robbery, organized and commercial crime. The provincial investigation units be removed from the structure of detective service as a prioritization as well as cost-saving measure. What did that mean, since you are the head of detectives?
What this whole thing actually, this whole exercise means is that we've got task teams that are all over the country, and they are not properly monitored nor controlled. If, for an example, now there is fire somewhere in the Eastern Cape, we form a task team, we take certain members from different offices. Those members leave the docket, they peg them there in the office of the commander. They go for the task team. And they claiming a lot of money every day to be there. The same applies to this same task team. You must watch, this committee must request for an audit of the overtime and the SNT claimed by these members of this task team since their establishment. Now, I say, when you look at Vision 2030, we've got to build a capable state, well-resourced, with technology, capable and able. In other words, whatever crime that is committed, whether you are in Cape Town, whether you are in Northwest, in Limpopo, every office must be capable, must be able to do the work. Now you are sitting with a very small pool of excellence in KZN. That selects whatever they want to do, but with a budget almost 500 million to date. Now, I'm sitting with Westbury, I'm sitting with El Dorado Park, I'm sitting with Hanover Park, I'm sitting with all those areas, sensitive areas, where every day I get videos of a shootout, mothers crying, where we need to focus our energy, but we're not focusing our energy there. We're focusing our energy on a PKTT in KZ, and that is actually every 3 months applying for millions of rand too. So I say it's not helping the country at all. It's not helping the country. We must build the country in such a way that capacity must be evenly distributed, but it must be, every office must be as prolific as possible. I think even when you look at the FBI, when a case is open, you are sure that it will be attended to. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to rely on the PKTT to be called someone from KZN. So I'm just saying, personally, I feel that we need to equip all the offices of the murder and robbery units. Now, when the minister started, the notes that I made in one of the meetings, the minister says, Minister Mkuno expressed his concerns regarding the political killings task team. He suggested that instead of establishing separate units to focus on different types of murders, the organization should consider establishing a single integrated unit under the umbrella of murder and robbery unit. This unit would operate nationally, ensuring a more streamlined and coordinated approach to address such crime across the country. Now, this is the minister, and at that time, the minister had just arrived. It was just a big feedback sessions. We were discussing these issues in a boardroom with all the other executives. Then this is the National Commissioner's response. And I must hasten to also indicate that what was said to be closed is not the PKTT alone. There was also an inspectorate. The inspectorate, the minister said here that Minister Mkunu cited that legislative imperative is what we would be worried about when designing organizational structure. We need to be concerned of economic growth, capable state, and removing poverty, as well as intervening. In what is causing the disclosure of trade, you must also adhere to the mandate of the 7th administration in addressing corruption and that. Now, Minister Mkulu required a narrative between the relationship between provincial commissioners, deputy national commissioners. He further guided the relationship linkage by having dotted lines to indicate of those that are directly reporting to the national commissioner. Now, General Masemola clarified to the minister on the relationship between provincial commissioners and the DNCs. Now, this is in that meeting, but specifically what I want to talk about, on the issue of disbandment of the inspectorate, General Masemola indicated that it can be done, but to implement it would come with the cost implementing such such as providing of Section 35 to some members. But it is something that has to be done. That is the National Commission. General Masemola clarified to the minister that the political team, the political task team, is not a formal unit, but rather a task team. He explained that the primary objective of this task team was to evolve into a dedicated murder and robbery unit. As such, it does not appear on the organizational structure, given that it is a temporary structure designated for specific purpose and not a permanent operational unit. So as far as I'm concerned, the National Commissioner was actually in agreement from the very onset that this was just not meant to be a permanent structure. It is just a task team. So I'm saying, just like when the minister spoke about the murder and robbery unit, when he introduced the subject, even General Kumalo in his presentation in Parliament, he says the docket will be taken to the murder and robbery unit where they need to be investigated. So it was that what was just agreed upon. It is not motivated by any relationship with Kate Matlala or Brown Mohosi, not at all. It is a subject that has been a subject matter on the table with signatures.
But you see, it seems to be the case that this work study didn't specifically reference or deal with the political killings task team. Somehow it's sort of stood apart. Because in March 24, this is in your affidavit, on page 19, at paragraph 55.
Page 19 of my statement.
Of your statement, sorry.
Paragraph 19.
On page 19, paragraph 55.
Paragraph 55, Chair, I'm ready.
In March 2024, Lieutenant Colonel Kumalo made a request for a budget of 94.8 million rand from the national budget for the PKTT. Okay. For the PKTT. I supported the budget request and signed the recommendation on 26 March 2024. This demonstrates that I had no opposition to the PKTT. Then if you go to your comments, which is now dated the 9th of September 2024.
Page?
You were on page 200 of the core bundle.
Nothing. Sure, I would do honestly.